Welcome to Audiobook Bay. Today, we're exploring The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, a deceptively simple yet profoundly transformative book about living with integrity and freedom. Don Miguel Ruiz draws from ancient Toltec wisdom to present four agreements that, if honored, can completely transform your relationships, your self-image, and your entire experience of being alive. These aren't rules imposed from outside. They're invitations to live in alignment with your deepest truth. By the end of this summary, you'll understand why this book has touched millions of people seeking greater peace and authenticity. The beauty of these agreements is their universality. Regardless of your background, beliefs, or circumstances, they apply to everyone because they're rooted in fundamental human truths about how we create suffering and how we create peace. The Four Agreements is written in a spiritual language, but it's absolutely practical. You can begin applying these agreements today, and you'll notice changes in your life immediately. This is a book for anyone tired of suffering, ready to reclaim their power, and willing to commit to a new way of relating to themselves and others. People often report that implementing even one agreement creates noticeable shifts in their relationships and their inner peace. The genius of these agreements is that they're deceptively simple. On first reading, they seem almost too simple to matter, but as you contemplate them and attempt to practice them, you discover layers of sophistication and power. The first agreement teaches you to be impeccable with your word. The second teaches you to stop taking things personally. The third teaches you not to make assumptions. The fourth teaches you to always do your best. Together, they create a foundation for a life without needless suffering. They form a path from the dream, the false reality we've been living in, to awakeness. Takeaway 1: be impeccable with your word. This is the most powerful agreement, and it begins with understanding the incredible power your words carry. Your words are spells. They cast energy into the world and into your own consciousness. Speaking impeccably means never using words to harm yourself or others, not in anger, not in gossip, not in the stories you tell yourself about who you are. When you speak, your intention is clear and your words are truthful and kind. This includes your internal dialogue, the voice in your head. That voice is either your greatest ally or your greatest saboteur. Impeccable speech is the doorway to authentic freedom. Takeaway 2: don't take anything personally because nothing others do is really about you. Most of us walk around carrying wounds from things people said or did to us. We interpret those actions as proof of our unworthiness. But here's the liberating truth: other people's behavior is a reflection of their own dream, their own struggles, their own agreements with themselves. Their criticism, their judgment, their rejection, none of it is actually about you. When you stop taking things personally, you become emotionally invulnerable. You're no longer at the mercy of others' moods and opinions. This agreement alone can heal decades of pain and resentment. It's one of the most liberating practices you can embrace. Takeaway 3: don't make assumptions because assumptions are the breeding ground of conflict and suffering. We make assumptions about what others think, what they mean, what they intend. We create entire stories based on incomplete information. Then we defend those stories as if they are absolute truth. This is where miscommunication, resentment, and unnecessary pain originate. The antidote is radical honesty. Ask clarifying questions. Listen with genuine curiosity. Have the conversations you've been avoiding. Most of the drama in our lives exists only in the assumptions we never challenge. Ruiz emphasizes that assumptions create a fog between people that makes genuine connection impossible. Think about how much suffering would disappear if we simply asked for clarification instead of assuming we knew what someone meant or why they did something. Takeaway 4: always do your best, which means your effort changes from moment to moment. This agreement prevents perfectionism and self-judgment from imprisoning you. Your best when you're sick is different from your best when you're healthy. Your best when you're learning something new is different from your best when you're experienced. Your best in a moment of joy is different from your best in a moment of grief. When you're doing your best in each moment, there's nothing to regret. You release the burden of impossible standards. This is perhaps the most compassionate agreement because it acknowledges the reality of being human and having good days and bad days. Many of us torture ourselves by comparing our best in one moment to someone else's best in their best moment, not realizing how unfair that comparison actually is. Takeaway 5. These 4 agreements form an internal system of self-governance. It's not about following external rules or obeying authority. It's about creating a personal code of honor that aligns with your deepest values. When you keep these agreements with yourself, you build self-respect and integrity. Your inner child, the part of you that carries all your wounds and dreams, learns to trust you. This is healing at the deepest level. Many spiritual traditions recognize this inner child, and healing your relationship with this part of yourself is transformative. Think about how many times you've broken promises to yourself. How many times have you told yourself you'd do something and then didn't? Each time you keep an agreement with yourself, you rebuild that broken trust. Over time, this becomes the foundation of unshakable self-confidence. Takeaway 6. The mitote or mental chatter clouds your perception and disconnects you from truth. Your mind is constantly generating stories, judgments, and interpretations. Ruiz calls this the mitote, the dream you're living in. Most of us are hypnotized by our own mental noise. We're not seeing reality, we're seeing our interpretations of reality. The agreements help you quiet the mitote and experience life more directly, more authentically, more peacefully. This is the goal of meditation in many traditions as well, getting beyond the chatter to what is actually true. When you can quiet the noise even for brief moments, you experience a peace and clarity that reminds you what's possible. You realize that peace is your natural state and suffering is optional. Takeaway 7. Your childhood domestication installed agreements you didn't consciously choose. From birth, you were taught what to think, how to behave, and what to believe about yourself. This domestication was often rooted in fear and control. You internalized these messages, and they became your reality. The 4 agreements are a way to consciously upgrade your programming and replace fear-based agreements with truth-based ones. This is personal evolution at its core. You're not trying to be perfect. You're simply being more authentic and aligned with your own truth. Recognizing these old agreements is like waking up from a long sleep. You suddenly see how much of your suffering was self-imposed through beliefs you never consciously chose. Takeaway 8. Emotional reactions are windows into your unhealed wounds. When someone triggers a strong emotional response in you, it's not because they did something wrong. It's because they activated an old agreement, an old wound, an old belief about yourself. Instead of reacting, you can pause and ask, what's really happening here? This curiosity transforms your relationships and accelerates your healing. Your triggers become your teachers. This is the invitation of the 4 agreements, to use every interaction as an opportunity for greater consciousness. Every argument, every moment of hurt, every instance of jealousy contains a gift if you're willing to look at it with curiosity rather than reactivity. Takeaway 9. Living the 4 agreements creates authentic self-love, which is different from the self-love that's based on conditions. Most of us learn to love ourselves conditionally. We're worthy only if we're productive, beautiful, successful. True self-love, rooted in the 4 agreements, is unconditional. You love yourself regardless of your performance or appearance because you see your own essence. This is the love that heals everything. It's not arrogance or narcissism. It's coming home to yourself with compassion and acceptance. When you truly love yourself this way, something miraculous happens. You stop needing others' approval. You stop tolerating mistreatment. You naturally attract people who respect you because you respect yourself. Your entire life begins to reorganize around this foundation of self-love. Takeaway 10. Freedom, the ultimate goal of the 4 agreements, is the natural result of living with integrity and releasing judgment. You're not free when you have everything you want. You're free when you're no longer imprisoned by fear, shame, and the need for others' approval. The 4 agreements are the keys to that freedom. They're not abstract concepts, but practical tools you can use today to reclaim your life. What makes the 4 agreements so powerful is its simplicity combined with depth. On the surface, the 4 agreements seem straightforward. But as you begin to apply them, you discover layer after layer of wisdom. You realize how deeply the old agreements have been wired into you. You notice patterns you never saw before. You begin to understand why you've been struggling in certain areas. And with that awareness comes the possibility of real change. Ruiz emphasizes that practicing the four agreements is not about perfection. You'll slip. You'll break agreements with yourself. You'll fall back into old patterns. The practice is about noticing when that happens and gently returning to alignment. Each moment is a new opportunity. Each conversation is a chance to show up more authentically. This is the spiritual journey Ruiz invites you into, not a destination, but an ongoing practice of becoming more conscious and more free. Thank you for joining us at Audiobook Bay. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is a timeless guide for anyone seeking greater peace, authenticity, and freedom in their life.